Rich people with more money than sense buy a G-wagon. Rich people with common sense buy a Lexus LX. I'll include a link to the Lexus and Linden's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this LX. If you have any questions, just ask for Michael. Let's get right into it. This week's giveaway highlight is a classic Corvette with a big block V8. If you're interested, use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. This will give you 4x bonus entries on any donation $25 or more. Powering this is a hybrid twin turbo 3.4 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. Fuel economy is 19 around town, 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 457 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque, and this can tow like 8,000 pounds with this engine. If you're able to, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. Now the LX is a Land Cruiser, so it's going to have some more muscular styling. Look at the hood, for example. But then because it's the Lexus variant, you can see the headlights are going to be more angular, and then the F-Sport gets the coolest grille out of all of the LXs. Really intricate with the design, and I love how it matches very nicely to the side vents. Altogether, the F-Sport definitely stands out in the LX lineup. Tire wheel setup is 265 by 50 by 22. You can fit 18-inch wheels on these, even 17s. I've got 17s on mine. But yeah, these are the big fancy street wheels. And unlike a G-Wagon, this actually has height adjustable suspension. It's hydraulic, which is not only very comfortable, but reliable too. Look at those lines. Again, kind of goes with a muscular look. This does have side steps. You can remove them if you want, which I kind of recommend because the active height control, it's easy to get in and out of. But either way, here is the side profile. This is in the raised height setting, and it makes it look a whole lot cooler. Now when it comes to key fob features, you've got the Lexus logo there on the back. On the front face, we have our lock and unlock and the opening for the rear hatch. Down the rear, we've got these controls to raise and lower the third row. You can get these without a third row with some packages on the 700H, like my Overtrail. 2400 watt inverter. But yes, if you have the third row, you've got the shelf system. So you have a little bit of storage underneath, and then you've got the shelf on top to make it so that it's flat with the third row folded down. And that does mean that you lose quite a bit of vertical space. I mean, this is like, that's decent. That's probably like 4 or 5 inches of space. Third row passengers do get a USB port recline function. The space back here in general is not like horrible. You can fit adults back there technically, but kind of more of a kid's third row. And Land Cruisers have always been third row in a pinch rather than using it all the time. Giant light bar across the back, of course. And then this one has the blacked out badges, which I think look sharp. That will cap things off for the exterior. Let's now take a look at the interior of the LX. So we've got sunshades here inside, and all of the trim is very tight with the fit and finish. The build quality is fantastic. Everything feels very high quality too. And that continues onto the seats. They're perforated all down the center portion. Legroom in the back is good. We've got a little storage pocket there. We also have our own climate zone in the rear. Heated ventilated seats to match, so quite a bit of luxury. And then it actually has a decent amount of headroom. Not as much as like a G-Wagon because the boxy design, but it's still good. Keyless entry for up front, and let's check it out. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Acoustic glass not only in the front but also in the back. Forgot to mention that. Memory seats with this. The mirrors power fold in, and then you've got more of that really nice trim. The seats are perforated down the center portion. You do have power adjustments with lumbar support on the side. With the steering wheel, perforated trim on the other side. You got the F-Sport logo there at the bottom. Paddles on the back for the 10-speed. You have adaptive cruise control to lane centering. It actually works quite well. Regular stocks there on the back too. And then here is the gauge cluster. You can see it's digital, customizable. Fuel range on this because of the 17.9 gallon fuel tank. Not horrible. I mean, this one hasn't been driven at all. You can expect to get roughly, high 2s, maybe low 3s for the range. 360 camera system fills in underneath the vehicle. Good resolution. And then the infotainment system, it's the newest UI. It's quick to respond. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And I'm guessing this one also, yeah, this has massage seats. You got to kind of dive into a few menus to use it though. You got the secondary screen. I don't like the look of this, but the functionality is actually pretty good. The secondary screen controls stuff like the climate stuff, and so you can have whatever you want up here, and then down here you can also have the climate without having to choose one or the other like most modern screens. But they still give you physical controls for the climate, for example. You also have stuff for your MTS. This has a 2-speed transfer case. It's got crawl control too. Got some USB ports, heated ventilated seats up front, parking assist. Everything's automatic, by the way, the heated ventilated seats, heated steering wheel too. You do have a different shifter compared to the 600 because of the hybrid And then you've got some physical controls. The most important stuff, this does have a center diff lock, and then you have got your active height control feature there to raise and lower. Phone charging pad actually works. Cool box center console, and it has the trick where it can open up both ways. This might not look the most styled, but build quality is great and it feels great. Camera rear view mirror, and then we do have a regular sunroof with this. I wish they'd let you get it with that one. This sticker's for $122,648. Let's see how it performs. Gotta love the view from the back. You can even open up the console from the rear. Like, why did it not shut? Now in H2 you do have quite a bit of height. That's where like the steps would come into play, is if you had it in H2, but again, you can always just lower it and it's very quick. And you're not going to drive on road. You're gonna, so when you're getting in and out of the car, you have it in low. Let me just set it to low so I can show you guys. And look how quick that was, by the way. Like, it's done. It's already in low. So like, look how easy that is. And you can see it's a lot lower. But I mean, like, you don't need the side step. You just step up and just kind of go across. So pop it back up to, and it does take a little bit longer for the hydraulics to raise the car, but yeah, the lowering is so impressive because it's just like, and whenever I'm driving mine and I pull up to a place, I obviously just I have the auto setting where I'll go to the low, and people are always like, what? Because it looks crazy to see in person because it just drops fast. It's not quite as crazy. I think it's actually kind of almost as crazy as the Ford GT. So here's the deal with Land Cruisers. I now have owned, right, I'm still doing the long-term test in the LX. That'll be a very long-term test, but you know, I've owned two, right? I have the 200 series Heritage Edition, and I've got the LX Overtrail. And what I've discovered is when you drive them the first time, you're not really going to be that impressed. When you go and buy one and then drive it for, I would say about 4,000 miles, that's where the love starts to set in. And then, you know, like my 200 series, I bought it with 12,000 miles, we got over 30,000, so we put like 20,000 miles on it roughly. And it's like the love is just greater. Because this car does not drive perfect, especially this F-Sport package. They kind of firm up the suspension. In my opinion, the F-Sport's not the one to go for in terms of getting the best Land Cruiser experience. We'll talk about that more later. But yeah, the suspension in this it's not bad at all. But yeah, it's firmer. But everything else, like, it just always works, and it's super capable off-road. I mean, I just did over 100 miles off-road this weekend with my daughter. Performed flawlessly, zero issues. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, see, this is just a little bit too firm. It's interesting, the difference between this and the Overtrail. It's just the shock tuning. But yeah, the power is great. I mean, tons of torque. And smooth power delivery. Now, this isn't quite as smooth as the V8 and the 570 and the 200 series, but it's still a very smooth powertrain for a modern turbo hybrid. And it's got crazy amounts of power. It takes a second for it to all turn on because you got to spool up the turbos and everything, but yeah, it's quick. It can get out of its own way. No problem. So here's the deal. Why would you buy an LX? Well, these cars are supposed to be able to go many, many miles. As long as you do all your regular maintenancing, it's supposed to be a very reliable long-term vehicle. That's part of the appeal. The size, right? It's over 6,000 pounds, so you can ride it off as a business owner. The space is not as good as something like a Tahoe, for example. It's not that big. It's 200 inches, not 210. But, you know, space is good. It's very capable off-road. I think if you use this car for everything that it's intended to be used for, the experience is great. It's just if you don't use it for everything, then it kind of, you're like, man, I'd rather have something a little bit sportier. I'd rather have something with a little bit more space, this or that. But my 2 cents on the whole LX lineup, if you're looking for a family LX, get a 600 because the third row is much more usable, folds down flat. So get a 600. If you're getting the hybrid, Overtrail 2-row. That's the way to go. And if you do that, you get good storage in the back, and it is less money. That's the thing that's crazy, is the Overtrail is less money. And I think that what they're doing is they're kind of like subsidizing the fact that we don't have a 300 series other than this in the US market. So instead of, man, this person's just looking at the cars, so we're gonna go around. Instead of them selling the LX and the 300 series side by side, what they're doing this time around is they're just selling the LX, but they're discounting it. Because you look at this, this is a 700H F Sport. Man, those trees are low. This is a 700H F Sport, and it is $122,000, whereas mine, with all the same features, was like $118 roughly. So like several thousand less for the Overtrail. So the Overtrail is a little bit less money to kind of meet you in the middle. Because if we did have a 300 series Land Cruiser, it would be about $105,000 to $110,000 for those of you wondering. So anyways, let me you guys think about this. I think if you're looking for a long-term play, these should be good. As I test mine and get more miles on it, I'll be able to tell you guys more definitively if it's reliable or not. But man, if you use this thing, if you do off-roading, if you daily drive it, if you use it as a family car, you'll love it. If you don't use it for everything, you're just not getting, the value is not going to be there.